Hello, assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my YouTube channel. What's cooking in Zahira's kitchen today? As you guys can see from the title, we're making no-fry samosas. Maanta waxaa sameynayna sambuus oo saliid lagu dubaynin. Markii la socdo ko waxaa ka bilaabaynaa spinach. So we're going to start with handful of spinach, some spring onion, you can use any other onion if you like, and I'm going to use some coriander, 2 pieces of garlic cloves, pre-boiled chicken and cheese, which is optional. So that وجدين وحاستعمل spinach, كبسر علين, فرماجو, iyo chicken hore usoo karkariyay biyo loo karkariyay marka ila socda recipe-gan aad u fudud yahay. And then what you're going to use now is 1 tablespoon of oil. Make sure your heat is on low medium. And then we're just going to crush our garlic and then quickly saute that. Make sure you don't toast your garlic too much so that it ends up being dry, because you don't want it to be dry. So جايدين toontii ayaa saliida lagu dalacayaa wax yar. Saliid badan uma baahnid. You don't need a lot of oil, to be fair. You can also use butter, but I would say go for oil instead of butter. And then as you can see, I've added my spring onion, and then we're gonna saute that for a while until we add our chicken. The reason I pre-boiled the chicken is just to make my life easy. You can do this the way you like it, but I think it's easier this way. And yes, I do realize it looks dry, but trust me, it's gonna get better. And then waxaa ku daray hal qaando oo maraq digaag. Waxaa ku darsan kartaa cisba hadaa rabtid, ana cisba kuma darin. I've added 1 tablespoon of chicken stock powder, and then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of paprika powder. You can add any type of spice that you've got at home, it doesn't matter really, but if you're following this recipe, then I would encourage you to use everything I've used. And then I've added mild curry powder. Usually I like spicy curry powder, but this time I didn't have any, so I just went with that. And then half a teaspoon of cumin powder or Jeera, the way you guys know it. And then just keep on mixing that until all the spices are incorporated and everything else is coated with the spices. And then lastly, I'm going to add my chopped baby spinach. You don't need a lot of spinach. If you like spinach, then add more. I do like spinach, but my family are not big fans of spinach, so hence why I use less. waxaa ku daray spinach kadib wax yar u sug inuu karo. This should take at least 5 minutes. Make sure you don't burn this, and make sure you don't dry out your filling for the samosa. And then I've added 2 tablespoons of fresh squeezed lemon juice. You can also add water at this point, just a little bit, 2 tablespoons of water if you don't have orange juice with you. And if you do have orange juice, then I'd encourage you to use the orange juice. And then I've chopped up some coriander, which I'm going to add in next. And then just mix that all up. And there you go. The chicken looked dry earlier, and look at it now. Super juicy. You don't want your chicken to be too juicy, because then when you're adding it to your filling, it's going to be really sweaty, and then it's going to affect your pastry, which you don't want. And as you guys can see, that looks perfect. So now I'm using the baklava type of pastry. This is Filo Pastry. I bought this from my local Turkish store. You can find this in any local grocery stores, or you can find this in the bigger supermarkets, but it was easier for me to get from my local shop. And this one was actually particularly really big. And by the way, this was the first time I made this recipe, so I was making it up as we went along, and fortunately it did go well. So yeah. So then these pastries are super thin. They're very flimsy, so you have to be really careful with it. As you can see, I'm brushing it with oil. Folie diyaarsan waaye, dukaanka ka soo gatay. Dukaamooyinka waxaa ka heli kartaa gurigaaga u dhow ama supermarketada waaweyn. Waxaa la dhahaa Filo Pastry, waa folie diyaarsan already. Foliedan aad ay khafiif u tahay, marka isticmaalaysid waa inaad tartiib u isticmaashaa. Haddii kale dhaqsay jeexmayaan ama dhaqsuu go'aya marka wax marinaysid. Sidaa ujeedin saliida mariyay. aragtida ujeedaa inaa dhibaato isla marayno sababtoo ah aad khafiif u tahay. Saliidaa mariyay. Waxaa marsan kartaa buuro oo la dhalaaliyay ama waxaa mari kartaa biyo hadaa rabtid. You can go as healthy as you want. This was enough for me as long as I'm not frying it in oil. This was okay to me, to be fair. And then as you can see, I've used 3 layers because these, like I said, they're very, very thin. If you were to use 2 layers, it would rip and then your filling would just pour out. And then I was basically seeing how many slices I was going to make. Like I told you guys, I was making up this recipe as I went along. So here we go. I'm going to write down the instructions on the description down below. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I'm going to come up with more recipes, hopefully. And if you do like this recipe, let me know. So then now I've cut this into 5 pieces. And then I'm slowly going to add in 1 tablespoon of the filling. I'm mixing up my cheese and the chicken filling that we had from earlier. I love cheese, everything with cheese. I just love cheese. If you like cheese, you can add it. If you like, you could basically add everything you want or anything you like, but I prefer this, to be fair. I'm using cheddar cheese, by the way. And then, so usually when I make samosas, right, this is the funny part. When I make samosas, I used to make it from scratch, the old way of cutting it up into triangles and then basically making it. I've never made samosas like this. Hence why when I was folding it, I kept forgetting the pattern. And they look okay, but hey. And then you just keep on folding it like this as you go on. This recipe made at least 15 samosas, and then the leftover with the filling, or else you can make more filling, because I was left with a lot of filo pastry. So then what I've done is I've made that into rolls, like similar to spring rolls. So then I've added all the other vegetables I have at home, and then I just baked that. And then saliida mariyay kadib foornada sii daaro 15 daqiiqo foornada ku dib. So then make sure you preheat your oven before you put it in the oven, and make sure you bake it for 15 minutes. If your oven is high heat, then make sure you keep an eye out. You don't want to burn it. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new, and I will see you guys soon on my next video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you. Bye.